Welcome to another episode of Racing to Learn. We're a nonprofit that gets kids excited about math and science. We are working on our Pro Line Pro MT 4x4 today. This is a 1/10 scale monster truck. It uses ultra beefy components. We're continuing our upgrade and kind of maintenance on this. You guys can see the full playlist for all of our videos for this truck in the video description. Today we're going to be putting in the servo. We're going to be testing out the servo saver, adjusting the tension on the servo saver, and basically getting this this truck to bash. So without further ado, let's get going here. So first we're just using this Tower Pro MG 996R servo that we've had laying around. Let's see here. Yeah, just gonna look at the manual real quick here. Kind of forgetting how this went in. Oh, okay, so we've actually got to swap the servo around. Alright, we've got this not in the right way, which is a shame since the servo cord has to run under the differential. It'd be great if we could put the servo in like this, but unfortunately the servo saver needs to go in. Actually, that is the right direction. Confusing myself here. I'm just removing the linkage and the from the old plastic servo saver arm here. And that is going to go in like this. So actually, this is the right direction. Alright, let me just do this. I'm going to put the servo arm on here. Actually, what I should do whenever you install a servo, you always want to make sure that it's centered and trimmed to neutral. I'm going to go ahead, that's not plugged in anyways. Just going to plug in, oh, I need to plug that in actually, so I get power to the receiver. I'm going to put in, just going to plug these up so they're not hanging out in limbo. Going to plug in the receiver. Okay, servo is centered, set to neutral there, or trimmed to neutral. I'll go ahead and turn this off. Alright, remove the power. Okay, so now we can put the horn on. Straight like this. Looks like we're in between teeth there, so I'm going to pick the one that's closest to straight. Looks like they're both off there, so go with that. Just snap that in there. The servo wire needs to go under the differential, so I'm going to unplug these wires again. Just route the wire underneath the diff. Alright. Just gonna make sure that this cable is flat going underneath that diff. You know, I did have some concerns routing a wire under a moving part, but I don't think anybody's had trouble with this yet. Alright, there we go. That will line up there. So let's go ahead and get the 10mm, 3x10mm screws here. the ones with the washers will go into the actual servo mount there. That's a part of the center diff. All right, so let's get in here. All right. I just want to hand thread these in. Make sure I don't cross thread. And then I can finish it off with the power driver, drill, whatever you want to call it. And 2 more 3x10mm screws to hold the rest of that servo saver. Oh wait, why is that is longer than 10mm, isn't it? That is not a 10mm screw. That is not a 10mm screw either. Where did I put? Oh, here we go. Here's our 10mm screw. Pardon the messy workspace right now, but I am just trying to get this truck back together because we're trying to go bashing. So I will clean the work area later. It's so messy that I can't even find my drill adapter. Well, I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way then. That isn't it. That's what happens when you have a messy workspace. All right, so we'll screw these back in. Oh, I just lost track of. Okay, the screw that goes into the servo saver is a 3x16. I'm guessing that this one was it. Always handy to have some calipers. Yep, this is it. I'll have to put some thread lock on this since it's going through, or going from metal to metal. Shake my thread lock up a little. I also forgot which screw actually went into the servo head there. And that's too small. That's a 2.5mm. I'm guessing it's probably this. 3mm. Okay. Don't want to mix that up with other screws. I really need to get better organized here. Hopefully I wasn't going to use this screw for anything else. Perhaps it went on our SCT, but screws are universal, right? They just have to be the right size. So I'm going to put some thread lock on this screw before putting it through the servo saver. Ooh. There went my thread lock. Still got enough on the head of that screw though. Just making sure I don't cross thread. Going into the servo itself. Alright, and then thread lock on this screw going through the servo saver arm and into, the servo linkage into the servo saver arm. All right, it's all coming together nicely. The old plastic servo saver has a nut on the bottom, whereas the aluminum one doesn't because it's threaded. So just in case you're wondering where those extra parts go, they don't go anywhere. All right, so we've got this all set up. And all this was just to, I should tighten up these screws a little bit more, was to test the, or set the tension on the servo saver. So let me get these screws in, and then we'll test and adjust the tension on that servo saver. Now, you know, I think I've read on the Facebook group for the Pro line, Pro MT, or I heard it on a YouTube video or something, that most folks are just putting it on full tight in terms of, you know, putting the maximum amount of tension on that servo saver. I'm not the hugest fan of that approach, just because then it kind of defeats the purpose of having a servo saver. Well, not entirely, but I want to have some give in that servo saver. So let's see here. Trying to get a feel for how much, and it's tough not having these top. I might just tighten it a little bit more past the top of this bearing here, and then we'll run with it and see how that feels. Just tightening this up a little bit more. And then we can go ahead and put on the top plate here. Actually, anything else I wanted to do? One thing that this truck doesn't have, too bad I couldn't find some on hand here, or local, was a 12 millimeter snap ring to basically go on the inside, or on the outside of the diff output. There's, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but the ring in there that's right now is just kind of a lighter duty ring. Some folks have had problems with that falling off with heavier bashing. We haven't had that yet, but we're gonna go ahead and upgrade that when we get the parts in. So let us know what you guys think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you next time.